Welcome, young Skywalker. I have been expecting you. You no longer need those. I'm looking forward to completing your training. In time, you will call me Master. What's up, you guys? Alexandre here. Oh my gosh. Oh, and check out that. Oh, ah! I'm just joking. It's not going to. Check out my lightsaber, guys. What do you guys think? Just wanted to pull a nice Emperor Palpatine act. Anyways, guys. Yeah, like I said, Alexandre here. I'm gonna make another video on this. I haven't done much of Star Wars content, and I wanted to see one of my favorite Star Wars channels of all time, Star Wars Theory. Love his channel and I love his videos. When it comes to Star Wars stuff, he's the one to go to, and of course, as you can tell, I'm a big Star Wars fan. Yes, #1 dad in the galaxy. Now, I just recently heard that Kathleen Kennedy is finally out. Now, Dave Filoni I heard that he is taking her position as the president of Lucasfilm, and I'm not sure whether to be excited about that or be very concerned. Do I think he's going to be worse than Kathleen? I don't think so. We're going to be checking out Star Wars Theory and see how our things going and what is the future plans for Star Wars. So let's go check this out.
In the way that you created them. We don't have source material.
Say that again?
Adapting.
Yeah, obviously.
Oh, already? And how long? Like 12 seconds. Already, I had to pause the video. I'm sorry. How can you take her seriously? How can you take her seriously? We don't have comics. We don't have books. We don't have games. We don't have source material.
What?
You have source material. You're just saying this because you just dished all of them out of Canada. That's why. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, let's go.
We have hundreds of books and
So stupid.
everything you could possibly imagine.
Like you could
We
cringe
don't
on
even
that.
really have comic books. We have a mythology.
I have story treatments of a bunch of other movies, and
George Lucas never wrote a script for 7, 8, or 9. And the idea
Sure he didn't.
is that I think you're referencing are ideas that he had for other possible movies.
and I had the story treatment.
Come on, I've had to pause that many times. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry if I'm pausing so many times. I know we just got started, but like, no. Well, maybe he had some other projects. I know he talked about, he wanted to talk about like the underworld. Like George Lucas had like a project of like underworld, scum of the earth type of film or something like that, where it involved like crime syndicates and something like that. I think, but that all got canceled, and I think it was kind of fused with the Boba Fett show. I think it had something to do with like that.
Treatments or outlines. And,
Outlines.
And we were working on scripts. Since I didn't use my story, I have no idea what they're doing.
Oh boy!
Oh, my buddies.
After all the many years.
2026, we finally it happened.
All of the bad decisions. I mean, we're going back to the signing of Lucasfilm. Originally when George signed Lucasfilm off to Disney, to Bob Iger, he appointed Kathy as the president of Lucasfilm pretty much like days before he went to sign, and Bob was thrown off by it. He writes this in his book. He was like, oh, okay. And George appointed Kathy right before he signed.
That was his big mistake.
Lucasfilm, because he trusted her to take care
Definitely
of
big mistake.
his story. And while I wish Kathy the best on her next adventure, as a human
You are the chosen one. Just had to bring that out there. That's pretty much what Kathleen did.
being, as a beloved fan of Star Wars and how it's changed my life far beyond this channel, since I was a wee lad, there is no one
Changed my
better in
life,
history than
always.
Kathleen Kennedy to have strayed this brand further from what George would have wanted.
TheorySabers.com.
The
Go check
Disney
that out, by the way,
division
guys.
will be run by Chief Creative Officer Dave Filoni, and on the business side, Lin-Wen Brennan. Kennedy has been getting them ready for a couple of years as she plotted a return to her first love, producing the expansion.
Oh, 1 second. Sorry. Who's Lin-Wen Brennan? So she's teaming up with Dave Filoni on this one. Okay. I don't know why I always thought it was gonna be like Jon Favreau that'll be teaming up. No, I guess not.
Love producing. The expansion also included 5 animated series, the Disneyland and Disney World attractions, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, and the evolution of Lucasfilm Games, the downgrade of LucasArts, which had this many games, compared to this many games. Kennedy has been discussing the succession plan for 2
I mean, come
years.
on, yeah, exactly. Like, come on. Before Disney, look at all this. Even the bad ones are on there. For God's sake, like Star Wars Connect. Look, no disrespect to Jedi Survivor and Jedi Fallen Order, because those are great games, and I did it, and they're really, really cool stories, no problems whatsoever. But Star Wars Outlaws and Star Wars the Skywalker Saga are trash. First off, I love Lego games. First of all, and I used to play Star Wars Lego games, and I only have episode 1 to 6 in a Lego series, and I think Clone Wars as well. Yeah, I think Clone Wars as well. I have that too. I used to have the Lego Force Awakens game. I used to have it. Now I sold it. I sold it because I gave up on the sequel trilogy. Was it a fun game? Maybe a little bit. I think it was. I don't know if I had. I don't know if I can't remember if I had really had that much fun, but it was. Yeah, no, not anymore. I sold it and I was like, I don't like the sequel trilogy. Get out of my house. And as for the Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga game, I didn't like it because I just didn't like. I didn't want to play the sequel trilogy era, and I also didn't like the game. I don't know. I didn't like the game. There was something about it. I like the old original Star Wars Lego games. I don't know why.
Games. Kennedy has been discussing the succession plan for 2 years with Disney's Bob Iger and Alan Bergman. Here she explains to Deadline why now and what's ahead for her. 2 years ago, I went to Bob and Alan to figure out what the transition plan would be, and I made the recommendation that it be Dave Filoni and Lin-Wen Brennan. Dave is the perfect person to transition, but he hadn't made a movie, and I worked very closely with him beginning with Rogue One to get him a feel of how live action works. His background is animation and...
It's true. We don't really know how Dave is with live action, and since his first live action was Ahsoka, that didn't really turn out so great. Like at least 100%. Like so, when it comes to big movie, I feel like he's gonna need help or something. Like I feel like somebody's gonna have to help him, because I don't have faith in him doing the movies if he's really gonna do them. Maybe he might have some parts here and there, but when it comes to the movie itself, it probably wouldn't be as good. That's I think what I'm worried about.
He's very talented and immersed in Star Wars. He and Pablo Hidalgo are like the walking encyclopedias inside the company. Which, mind you, Pablo, before Kathleen was hired, did not have his position. Once she got hired, she just promoted the heck out of him. They always have the answer when you ask, hey, can I do this with a lightsaber? Yeah, kind of like when the High Republic, when they approved a lightsaber to slow down a Jedi when they were stabbing it into a cliff. Or what colors were the sabers? Or like in the Acolyte.
I swear I haven't read really much of the Star Wars comics.
So a young Ki-Adi-Mundi stepped in. So young, we had to make his birth date 40 years earlier because he was that young. Or anything else you need to know with what has come before. Like source material.
We don't have source material.
Oh, here's
sure you don't.
What have been the highs and lows of running a company built on such beloved IP? She's never going to talk about the actual elephant in the room. She's just going to ignore it as she always does and talk about how amazing and great it's been. The highs include...
Yeah, she doesn't acknowledge it. And when she does acknowledge something, she just disses out. I mean, have you heard her
people that I run into and people outside
just shit to
the
us?
business, they love Star Wars. they love the movies. They might love all the shows. They might love some of the shows. But when I came into this, I realized a few things. We had walked in at a moment when there hadn't been any movies for 10 years or more. But there was still the memory of the greatest series of movies in cinema history.
Well, let's see here. Revenge of the Sith came out 2005, and Force Awakens came out in 2015. So 2000. Actually, about like maybe almost a 10 or 11 years about.
You're walking into something that has enormous expectations.
Sorry, I had to do the math there.
At the same time, you know that you've got to find new characters and you have to expand the galaxy. And you need to think about who the new audience is. Wow, so wrong. That's what I feel that I did. And
What? You need to figure out who the new audience is. Why are you focusing on new audience? Guys, comment down below if like you will like. Did you catch that? Seriously? Did someone catch that? I wonder if somebody caught this in this video. Did anybody caught that? Damn! I never realized how boldly she lied. Okay, hold on. We'll read the comments later for a second, because I definitely want to read the comments afterwards. By the way, guys, we're not going to watch the whole video. If you guys want to watch the full video, go check out on the description below. Check out Star Wars Theories channel. You can check out the video there. Or you can just check on the link right here, and the video will be there. All you have to do is just click it, and then boom. You guys can go watch the full video and see what you guys think. And, nah, sorry. Are you serious? You want to make movies for new audiences. You gotta focus on the new audience, as if like it's so grand. What? No, that's not. I'm so flabbergasted. I don't know what to say anymore. Getting new audience, that's fine, especially if you want to get new fresh audience to like maybe rise up your score of the series. Maybe that's fine a little bit, but don't make it as like a big directed focus. Because like other two movies, maybe three, had this issue before. Like Jurassic Park actually had this issue too. Godzilla even had it, except it's a little bit of a different, for a different reason. Transformers, I don't really think so. Marvel, no, not really. Actually, they were just growing, so that's a bit different. But no, it's actually just Jurassic Park and really mostly Godzilla, I would say, because like Jurassic Park. When Jurassic World came out in 2015, that one grew a lot of audience back that have already grew up with the series and all, but also new audience as well. For those who like either like not have seen the other movies or something like that, or maybe have seen a little bit of the movies, but then they grew a lot more, especially what they're seeing in Jurassic World, and maybe they grew up with that. And that really succeeded because the other Jurassic Park movies and Jurassic Park as a whole as a series really wasn't turned into a joke. It really turned into a joke, especially by 2001. Was it 2001? Yeah, 2001 with Jurassic Park 3. That was many people didn't really like it. The score was low, and then Jurassic Park and The Lost World were getting beaten up a lot. Jurassic World came out in 2015. The series was successfully pause right there. Successfully revived. So that's a good start. And then same thing with Godzilla. Now Godzilla was a bit of a different story because Godzilla was mostly Japanese. So, and it was hard for Americans, for those who are like fans of Godzilla, but you're American. And yeah, so Godzilla was very successful. If Godzilla wasn't like, you know, towards for the Americans like that, and for 2014, Godzilla would probably not be as big. Maybe, I don't really know, but still, he probably wouldn't be as big as we know him today, for at least for the Americans, because it probably wouldn't be that easy. Maybe it'll be a lot easier because we have the internet, right? So it'll probably be, especially streaming now. So.
And that's what I feel all the people that I've worked with over the last decade.
But no, seriously, you should focus on the original fans too.
A new audience. I think we did find new characters. we continue to find new characters. And those characters continue to try and find themselves. Because the directors and writers don't even know. So, I mean, how would the actors didn't even know until the last minute. And this right here, ladies and gentlemen, is exactly why Star Wars failed.
You guys didn't even know Rey's lineage
So she
or anything
recognized
until later
that
on.
George Lucas
Then you
created
decided to
something
change that,
famous
no?
and something extremely popular and beloved. Yet at the same
sorry, guys, if I'm
time,
talking
she
much.
felt that you have to find new characters and you have to expand the galaxy, and you need to think about who the new audience is.
That was a bad mistake.
When George was making Star Wars, he didn't try to think of any of that. He didn't try.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't think of all that crap. No, look, making new characters is fine. George Lucas made his new characters when he did the Clone Wars show. He made Ahsoka. Ahsoka is beloved. She's very successful. Rex, awesome clone trooper character that there is. And then there's other characters like Satine. Satine's good. And then of course if you want to come with Disney's characters like Rebels, like Kanan, Hera, Sabine, Zeb, Ezra, list goes on. Like those are, and of course if you want to count the games as well, like Cal Kestis at Baron. Again, those are great characters. It's fine to make new characters. Problem is it should not be the biggest main focus. You have the original characters too, which by the way there are a lot. There are a lot of new characters, and you didn't even bother to use Luke and Leia and Han, or Lando for that matter, as a prime directive. You just put them in there just because they were in it to begin with, and then you tossed them aside to replace it with your new characters that were a piece of crap.
Audience, who will like this? He was just telling a story. And when you tell a good story, the audience finds you, not the other way around. When you chase the money runs away. When you focus on passion,
why are you so
the money
big on
finds
focus
you.
on
The audience finds you.
finding new audience
finds you.
so
That's what you
much?
failed to understand, and we all paid for it. The highs include bringing in a new audience. It's not to continue the story and the legacy that George Lucas
You just want to
created,
bring a new
but
audience.
it's to find
Focus.
a new audience, and a new audience they did find. Someone who
I
wants
don't understand. What new audience are you looking for?
the very things that they supposedly love so much and stand by. Like the Acolyte, for example, which cost $250 million.
Yes.
I think we did find new characters. Yeah, you found them, but you never fleshed them out. You never told them properly, and you never made us feel an ounce of the emotion and connection that George made us feel with the characters that he wrote, he put on screen, that he directed. We continue to find new
When you
characters.
watch episode 1 to 6, I'll make this quick. When you watch episode 1 to 6, you feel the connection between Anakin. You feel the connection between Obi-Wan. You feel the connection of Yoda. You feel the connection of Padme. You feel the connection of Leia, Han, Luke, Lando, Chewbacca, R2-D2. You feel the connection of like fucking many others. Maybe even Count Dooku a bit. You know, and those have big connections. Who the hell do you have a big connection to in the sequel trilogy that you would hold on to, that you would feel bad for? Because so far, I did not care about anyone to the point where, what's the point of carrying a character or a movie or the whole characters if you don't give a crap about any of them? To the point where like there's no point in watching it.
I think you should stop doing that. I think all the characters are already out there that George created,
Yeah.
and you just need to add on those and then close their book respectfully.
Even villains,
You
too.
don't
You
do
could have
that.
used any of them, like
And that's
Darth
why
Krayt.
so many people have a problem with Star Wars. So many people have a problem with you. But I guess we're all just sexist racists.
I don't believe that. You sound like a separatist.
The lows? Ooh.
I like that one, honestly. No, seriously, like I don't understand where they get this from. When I was a fan of Star Wars, this never happened. This never happened. Name me one time in Star Wars where like I know everybody hated the the prequels, and everybody kept giving them at that time. Now we think otherwise. But like maybe one time where we were thinking, oh, I want to be sexist. Oh, I don't. Yeah, no.
Ooh, going for it. The lows are that you've got a very, very small percentage of the fan base that has enormous expectations and basically they want to continue to see pretty much the same thing. The level of just incapable of being self-aware. This is the percentage of the fan base that has enormous expectations and basically they want to continue to see pretty much the same thing.
What? What? What the fuck are you talking about? So, okay, percentage of the fan base that has enormous expectations and basically they want to continue to see pretty much the same thing. What?
Of being self-aware. This is the most telling and closing chapter on her tenure at Lucasfilm, and I'm going to dismantle it. You guys see how she is calling us very, very small percentage of the fan base? Is it a very small percentage of the fan base that didn't watch The Acolyte? Yeah. So which small percentage are you talking about?
It does not exist.
We have enormous expectations and basically, dumbed down, we just want to see pretty much the same thing. No, dear Kathleen, we just want to see a continuation of the stories and the characters that we love. We want to see a continuation of the characters we grew up with, the characters that we looked towards for hope and courage and strength. Here,
I'll put it this way. Anybody here a fan of Dragon Ball? Okay, raise up your hand if you do. I'm a fan of Dragon Ball. I love Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, and so on. When you watch Dragon Ball Z, and I guess GT and whatnot, way before Super came out, way before Beerus came out, do you guys ever wondered what's next for Dragon Ball? Who is Goku and Vegeta gonna face? What's gonna happen to those characters? Now that you saw that, and look at that, look what they did with those characters. They continue on with them, right? Yes, they continued on with them with new adventures, new characters, new stories, new levels of power-ups. So like you got Super Saiyan God, you got Super Saiyan Blue, Ultra Instinct, and then you got new enemies, you got the multiverse, you got new villains, Zamasu, Broly. Well, Broly's been introduced, but whatever. And you got Golden Frieza, you got Grand Zeno, and the Jiren, and the you know, and so on. And then you got Beast Gohan. There you go. That's a continuation of story. This is not a continuation. This is a continuation / in a way reboot, which is Star Wars should not be a reboot. It's one of the franchises that shouldn't go through a reboot because it doesn't exist. It does not exist.
Came into Star Wars space, they love Star Wars, and that was the first and foremost important. You want to have people coming into Star Wars and wanting to tell stories and wanting to make movies and wanting to create television shows that you respect and care about. Jon Favreau is completely different than Tony Gilroy, and yet they're both incredibly talented storytellers. Is that why you gave Tony Gilroy about $800 million for his projects, yet everything else that Jon Favreau did got maybe a fraction of that? I found it thrilling to support each one of them in trying to tell the stories they wanted to tell. Well, I heard that you were making too many executive decisions with The Mandalorian, and that's why Mando Season 3 was totally different from Mando Season 1 and 2. But hey, what do I know? I just hear things. That's what I want to do well, and that's what I like to do and want to continue to do. And hopefully that took Star Wars into the next step. We'll see in the long run, but it feels like I feel like you expanded the universe and you stretched it thin. We brought new audiences in. You sure did. And you lost the old ones. The loyal ones. The ones that actually bought and purchased things. But especially with something like Star Wars, where George just created something that became a part of everyone's childhood. And why was that, Kathy? You ask yourself this. Why did it do so well? Every single filmmaker that walks in and wants to work on Star Wars, the first thing they say to me, the first thing I hear is, let me tell you about when I went to see Star Wars for the first time with my dad. If every single one of those people told you that, then wouldn't you want to continue that legacy instead of focusing on finding a new audience? Instead, you would want to focus on the audience you already have, instead of alienating them by completely changing script. Back when J.J. Abrams started the third cycle of Star Wars films, I asked a lot of filmmakers how that very first film affected them. My favorite recreation came from Ridley Scott. When I interviewed him for the film, The Martian, he looked at me hard and goes, well, this is what happened. And he told this great story about being with David Putnam, and they were working on Tristan and Isolde, as his next film, and took a break to see this movie everyone was talking about. Ridley found himself getting more and more pissed while he was watching it. Not because he didn't like George or his movies, but because he didn't think of it first. As he exited the theater with Putnam, he turned to the producer and said, "I think I'm not going to be able to do this movie with you. I've got to go to space." That led him to Alien. You always hear how Bruce Springsteen or other musicians watched Elvis Presley or the Beatles in those early days of television and knew what they wanted to do with their lives. George did a version of that with his first trilogy. How Did It Change You? Wow, I didn't know this interview was going to be this crazy, bro. All right. Kathleen says, "I didn't realize that about Ridley." That's fantastic. So many of us can talk about the moment that they saw Star Wars. It changed so many people in the movie business. And the way you thought about what you wanted to do because of what we were just talking about. The new tools and innovation and how we tell stories and how you create imagery. He created a world in a way.
Can you imagine a set where we're actually joined with Dave Filoni and Star Wars? That would be sick.
So she just completely
That guy knows Star
danced
Wars.
around the question. George did a version of that with his first trilogy. How did it change you? I guess she was talking about the technology of it. Coogler went into the genre sandbox and turned it completely on its ear and made it relevant to everyone as they thought about their own tribal roots and origin stories. I don't think I'd ever seen that in a movie quite like he did it. I imagine you'd give your eye teeth to have a guy. I've never heard that. You'd give your eye teeth to have a guy like that, or he could make a mark in the Star Wars universe. Oh, trust me.
And see, that's what I'm talking about. It's that. It's just that Kathleen doesn't know what she's talking about. I really doubt that she knows what she's talking about. Anyways, that's all I have to say. Anyways, I'm a little bit pissed off. I'm so sorry. I'm just not in the mood right now. Like, I just have to get out of my chest. Anyways, this is Riggs and Night. Peace out to go check out my other videos. By the way, so thank you for 1,100 subscribers. By the way, I really guys, thank you so much. So yeah, go check out my other videos, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out. Peace.